Hey listeners, before we get into today's podcast, I want to thank today's sponsors, first of which is Pretentious Pickles. Our good friends at Pretentious Pickles, located right here in Plymouth, Massachusetts on 190 Water Street, have a huge variety of pickled items for your consumption. There's pickled beets, Brussels sprouts, carrots, mushrooms, cucumbers, you name it, they've put it in a jar and pickled it. They make a phenomenal product, and for the second year in a row have been won Best Gourmet Shop in the South Shore, Massachusetts area. So congratulations to Lorraine and everyone at Pretentious Pickle Company. And if you can't make it to their store, you can stop by www.pretentiouspickle.com, and you can place an order online, and they'll ship it right to you. If you're into pickles, you should definitely check that out. And our second sponsor today is Hellofresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? With Hellofresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on Hellofresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less with over 25 recipes to choose from each week. There's something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure delicious and simplicity. And I was just over there on their website checking out what they have to offer. And I'm telling you, it's making me super hungry. We have a prosciutto wrapped chicken, which I'm such a sucker for prosciutto. Chicken over garlic parm, which looks delicious. And even a beef tenderloin and brown butter veggies. There's a lot to choose from over there. It looks fantastic. And today they're offering our listeners a discount. You can go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit.
This video of like a professional like streamer and stuff who still just like every time he goes to set up it's an ass ache, and he this is his job. Every time something like some button didn't get clicked or you opened programs in the wrong order and that messed something up. I was pissed off one day. I was live streaming Pokemon and I streamed for like 3 hours and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go like make lunch or whatever, like I'll be back. And all I did was put my shit down and walk out of the room. I left everything exactly the way it was. I went back in, clicked start stream, didn't have game audio, couldn't get my mic to give me
So we were
nothing changed.
We were live streaming music from here last winter, and we had OBS and we were using Restream, so we're streaming to a couple different platforms. First time fine. After that, we could never get back on Twitch. Like, it would stream just a blank screen, and I don't know why.
Dude, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know why it's so hard.
Yeah.
If this was a new thing, totally would get it. But I feel like at this point,
it should be a lot easier.
Especially with the people who are really good at the computer stuff. Like, I'm surprised it's not just a computer program. You open it and you just like assign your inputs.
Yeah.
Like, this is my mic, this is that, bang, and then that's your Twitch. Like, it would just be so easy. Like, you don't have to do all this other crazy shit. But
yeah, we're not there yet, unfortunately.
Setting up the captures is impossible.
And then you see like some of these professional ones that have like multiple cameras, and I'm like, it's fucking awesome.
I like the people that have like transition. Like, I wish I had like that little. I forget what it's called. There's like a little like stream board, and it's got like programmable keys and like all that stuff. Is like, all right, that button is like voice effects. It's like essentially what I was saying. Like, it's just like
it's a little TV studio.
Preset like everything you need. So like, all right, now that's like a cutaway screen. Like, it's just gonna put that in the stream automatically for you on that. But like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
Set up all my stuff to a button. Just do that all day as I'm tapping on the table.
But yeah, we're here. So this is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast. Welcome back, Inebri-ites. And I'm super excited because I think in the past year and a half, this is the second interview I've done sitting across the table from somebody.
Yeah.
In a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. And that voice you're hearing is kind of a local legend. You know, everyone knows the bass player with one name, not Flea, but Cheeze. Welcome to the show, Cheeze.
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so like we were hanging out last night. You were getting out of work, or
yeah, I was just finishing up.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, you got to come on the show. And I know we've talked about it before, and we've had one of your bands, because you're in 3.
I am in 3, yes.
So you're in From Fable.
Yep.
Lightning Lyford and the Procrastinators.
Yep.
And oh shit, I'm blanking. Don't tell me. I know it.
The one I've been in the longest.
I know.
Album comes out tomorrow.
I know. That's why I'm like, we should have you on. Don't tell me. Oh my god. Endeavor. Something Endeavor. Frantic Endeavor. I was almost there.
Nice.
It's early, man.
It is.
It's in the early morning. So, Cheeze, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
early.
Of course.
So you were in Frantic Endeavor. That was your first Endeavor. See what I did there? So how'd that band come about?
So that's like entirely my friend Chris's like responsibility. That's been his high school project forever. It's been different iterations of the band over the years. I've been playing with Chris maybe 14 years now. We've been playing music together. I started as a drummer in like this little grungy punk band. It was just like a couple friends. We got together, played my friend's dad's music in his garage, and I was a drummer. My best friend Tom was a drummer, and we took turns.
Yeah.
Nobody played bass. I got really tired of the taking turns thing. Looked at the wall and said, "That's got 4 strings. Show me that." And been playing ever since. So, yeah, probably like 13 years I've been playing bass. I would say probably 7 of those have been seriously.
Yeah.
A lot of like the high school stuff was like in and out when I had free time, like I don't know, busy in high school, homework, grounded, whatever I was whatever I was dealing with.
Taking your bass away.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like his whole like dream to do that. Frantic Endeavor comes from Coheed lyric. Flatline equals Frantic Endeavor. And that was the original name, but that is way too long for any username.
Right.
Anything to post it anywhere. It's just... So it got shortened to Frantic Endeavor, and it used to be the British spelling with the U in Endeavor. But that was one character too long for like Twitter or something, like way back when he was thinking about it, so it always got changed over.
It's to me it's really funny when like that's a thing now that bands have to like think about, like SEO. Like if I call my you know the band
Right, yes.
You couldn't do that now, because if you Google searched the band, you would never find the band you're looking for,
right?
Especially starting off. And we interviewed last summer this guy from a band called Red Gold Green, and in order, like I asked him because it's Red Gold Green, but they dropped all the vowels. So I'm like, why'd you do that? And they're like, search engine optimization. They're like, so you can find us. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's just one of those. That's a thing now that you have to think about. Like, how easy is it going to be for someone to find us on, Spotify or Bandcamp? And, that's interesting. That.
Yeah, luckily, so through the evolutions, we went through a bunch of lineups, whatever. I left the band for like 2 years, sold all my electric gear and just like focused on acoustic stuff. Rejoined, and when we got serious and put everything out, luckily we ended up with franticendeavor.com. It wasn't.
Oh, really?
It was so nice because everything that we have, socials, the website, everything is just Frantic Endeavor.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is surprising that we could get this.
We got pretty lucky with Inebri-art. The only one that we didn't get was Instagram. So it's like Inebri-art 6 or something like that. And then anytime, like, technically we're on Twitter, but it was literally just like, I don't understand Twitter, but I'm setting up the account, so we have Inebri-art when we decide to do something with it.
Yeah, we lack on Twitter, and that's partially my fault. Twitter was supposed to be like my kind of second social media, and then like over the years I like stopped the social media thing and just like gave up on it. I probably should look back into taking over again.
I feel like for music, it makes more. It's easier. I don't want to like downplay it that it's easier, but you have something to like record. Like, hey, we're gonna do like a quick video of us at playing somewhere. Or, you know, my big struggle is like, all right, so we interview. I don't want to put up the interview before the interview goes up. Like, what the hell am I going to be posting? Like, on, you know, and so it's, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's a work in progress, but it's part of the business now.
Yeah, it's all just figuring out how you can market your craft. Yeah. Depending on what it is, if it's music or if it's like digital art. I don't know. It's just figuring out how to target your audience, and I'm awful at all of that stuff. Luckily, we have somebody who focuses a lot of his free time into figuring all that out. So,
and it's constantly changing. Like,
yeah, and I can't keep up with it.
Yeah. But you were saying you have a new album coming out. Did you say next week?
Drops tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's right. August 27th.
Was this recorded during COVID? Or did COVID kind of hold things up?
I don't think we recorded during COVID.
I mean, we're kind of still during COVID.
Well, yeah, but during the
worst of it.
Yeah, the early days. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure everything was done before then. We were just waiting on masters to come back, and when then COVID happened, and we weren't really going to push it because we can't throw a CD release party. We can't hang out together and live. You know, it was just weird. So we kind of put a lot of stuff on the back burner, and that some of it we shouldn't have, but whatever. Yeah. It's all, like I said, learning.
And it's one of those no one really knows what's the right thing to do.
No, there was no way to figure out what was the right call.
Yeah.
I know. I think we played a show. Yeah, we played a show somewhere that was as far as regulations were concerned, everything was up to par. It was out of state or whatever, but this was last summer, so we had been through enough of it.
Yeah.
Man, we got a bunch of flack for it too.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was I don't know. I understand and respect not wanting to see people go out and do stuff like that, but as long as all the rules and everything are followed, I don't see it as a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I went and saw a couple shows last summer. You know, and it was
it was all outdoors.
Yep. You had to buy your tickets by the table, so you sat with people that you came with. If you got up, you had to wear a mask.
Exactly. All the same things. Yeah. If you were moving around outside, you had to have your mask on unless you were at your little area.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was great. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird time because we don't try to aggravate people.
No,
you know what I mean? That's not our goal. That's a bad business model. But I don't know. It was weird. Everybody kind of bounced out of it. I think everybody was just cooped up, and everybody online just needed something to look at.
People are still super cranky.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And now they're just out in public
and cranky. Yeah. And I'm one of them, man. I've been so pissy the past 2 weeks. I've just been a miserable prick.
Oh man. Yeah, that's weird. A lot of people have had in the last 2 weeks have been damn, things are just fucked up.
It's because it's
I don't know what it is. I fell off. I got super busy mentally and doing stuff in life, and before that I was very hippie. I worked my shifts, but it was if I'm not at work, I'm in Vermont, I'm in the mountains, I'm playing, you know what I mean? Playing hacky sack, and I just got super busy. I'm taking some time this weekend though. I'm playing a show on Saturday, so
nice.
It'd be good to reset.
Yeah, I think it's this kind of unknown. Are we going to be going back to mass? What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. It's picking back up, and it's
and then on top of that, it's not good summer weather. It's either raining or it's 95 and humid.
Yeah. Dude, the humidity, let me tell you, that little kitchen over there, and the humidity the last month.
Oh, that's over at Speedwell Tavern.
Speedwell Tavern, yep. Yeah, sorry. Didn't shout that out.
That's all right. I just have to fill in the listeners.
Bad employee.
Yeah.
It gets crazy over there, and it's year round. It stays hot in there.
Oh yeah.
So
I worked in a kitchen for maybe 6 months, and it was the dead of winter, and it's still you sweat your balls off, and
you show up with your sweatshirt and your sweatpants on, and you go down to your locker, and you're in your light t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
For the day.
And then when you leave, you're I'm not putting that stuff on.
No, and you just freeze for a little bit, get in your car, and go home. Just do the same thing again.
So how did you end up? So your second band was Lightning Lyford.
Yes, and second band was Lightning Lyford.
How did that come
about? So Tom, my best friend,
yeah,
we started playing music together. Like he was living with me at the time, and we just like acoustics. It was just like I played, he could sing, and we just kind of learned like 6 songs, and we went over to the Black Raz and did the open mic nights a bunch.
Oh, cool.
And then we started like just like sitting downtown on Coles Hill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just like, all right, now we're just gonna play here, like not for money or anything. It was always just like for fun. Yeah. And then people would be like, yo, like this is cool, and we were like, yeah, like Black Raz next week. We're there every week. And we were sitting there at my house one night, and I looked at Tom and I was like, yo, why don't we grab Chris and Cody and make this a whole like band? Like I would love to go back to just playing bass, because I am not a great guitar player. I am like maybe the campfire guy. Maybe the campfire guy, but I'm not like a performance guitarist, and it really showed. And I was out of my element there. But yeah, we grabbed them. We started jamming. I worked with Josh over at Speedwell, and he's a phenomenal drummer. But he was like, "Yeah, I play keys," and we were talking about it. And yeah, we grabbed Josh, and it's kind of just always been the 5 of us ever since.
Nice.
It's been great. And I'm just gonna go ahead and roll right into Faith from Fable real quick, because
Cody's in both bands.
Cody and Chris are in both bands. So I went through a breakup. And the day of my breakup, I went and crashed their band practice. Yeah. And kind of just like hung out. But played bass for a little bit. I have known their music like they're like, I don't know, like the sister or like brother band of Frantic. Like I've been homies with them forever.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had them on I think twice, and they were on I think in our first year.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while.
Yeah. And I don't know, they were looking for a bassist or whatever, and I kind of just happened to fall into that. And then I took some time to try and learn the material they had. They have some really intricate stuff way outside of my normal playing. Yeah. But I'm like super gassed about it now. It took me about a year to get some of the other stuff down and work on the new recordings. And then COVID happened, and we couldn't play a show. But we're
you were live streaming for a little while.
That was the cover band.
Right.
That was the cover band. Yep. Yeah. Nobody's really heard the new Faith stuff or like seen it with me in the band. And we're looking for a show, but not like crazy yet. I think we still have some things we're talking about, but soon that'll be happening. Yeah,
and I remember talking to them. It's harder for them to find gigs being a metal band. There's no place down here in Plymouth that does that sort of thing.
There's no like, I mean, the closest thing to like a local show stage that I've seen since like 3065 was around. Yeah. Is like some of my homies' bands are playing over at New World, and like that's like, you know what I mean, like Professor Caffeine and the Insecurities. Those guys are sweet. I've seen them over there. I'm playing a show with Frantic at New World in September.
But I wouldn't call Frantic Endeavor metal.
No, but we almost never fit a bill, because we get thrown on like a metal show, but we're an electric violin, a female vocalist with like some proggy riffs, and it's like, I don't know how to categorize us, because if we get thrown on a metal show, we don't fit the metal show that great. We're always the one that stands out, which probably isn't a bad thing. And then like a pop punk show, like that's a little closer. I feel more comfortable there. That's band number 4 I'm looking for. Anybody who decides that they want to be in a pop punk band, if you're listening, hit me up. It doesn't matter where we go. Like, honestly, I think my favorite shows with Frantic are festivals. Yeah. Because there's just a bunch, like, people go there to see a bunch of different bands. Right. So it feels less like, all right, we're on this metal show, and we're like middle of the show, so everybody's like beating the hell out of each other for like 3 bands, and then like here we come, like everybody's having a good time, and then they go back to like destroying each other. It's like, I feel like we're the rain at 1:30 at Warped Tour. Like it always rains every year. It's like 97 degrees, but like when that rain finally comes in the middle of the afternoon, you're like, all right, cool, nice little break, and then you get right back to it. Yeah. So
well, that might be the like you said, that stands out. It really sets you apart from the other bands.
Yeah. Music's cool. I think music is something everyone should at least dabble with in their lifetime. It's a good outlet.
It is. And that's kind of the premise behind the show is the creative kind of mindset. You know, initially when I brought this to Fish, I'm like, I want to do an art podcast. He's like, art's visual, that's stupid. And I'm like, good point. And then I was watching some stand-up comedians on like YouTube, and they're talking about like why some of them work dirty and how they wrote jokes, and like it just registered with me, and I'm like, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk to creative people, because you know, you're like, everyone should play music, and to me it's like everyone should create something,
right? Yeah,
you know, it puts you in a different mindset, and it's a huge release. Like, it's good for you.
Yes,
you know. And I used to be a visual artist. I drew and painted, and I have not done that for about a year and a half now, because I just kind of lost that drive. And now we create podcasts and videos and stuff, and it scratches that same itch, because it's creative and there's a process to it. Do you prefer playing? I'm not going to ask you which is your favorite band, but like, do you have a musical preference, or the being in 3 bands that like you get to like have everything, because you get to play a bunch of different stuff?
This is like kind of what I was saying about my 4th band.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this for a long time. My 4th band, like, it's already like a time crunch for 3 to think about that much music, but 4th band is like super critical. I'm going to be very specific about where I want to go, because it's the final itch to scratch, like you were saying. I love all the music that I play. I don't see one as better or worse than the other. There are pros and cons to all of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody thinks like the cover band like might be the dopest band I'm in, because I go and I play music for like 3.5 hours or whatever, and I get paid.
Right.
And usually better than like a local show for like original bands, because I mean, we're going to play like a 20-minute set or 25-minute set. You know what I mean? So like, we can't expect hundreds of dollars for that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and a lot of that is based on draw and stuff. I don't know. It's all weird. But one of the downsides to the cover band that I think gets overlooked is my brain. Like, I have so many tabs in my head for this cover band. I think if we were to play everything front to back that we've ever toyed with, or like it's on the board somewhere, we have a giant whiteboard, we're probably close to like 10 hours of music. So there's probably about 6, maybe 7 hours of cover music that's just like in my brain.
Do you ever...
Plus the Frantic stuff. Plus the From Fable stuff. Those don't have tabs. So those have to be in my brain.
Do you ever have like that moment where you're on stage and not like on autopilot, but like you're in that groove. So you're playing, you're not really thinking like exactly what you're doing, because it's that muscle memory, and then you have a hiccup in your brain and you're like, what song am I playing? What band am I in? What am I doing? Chris is on drums. Okay, I've narrowed it down to 2 bands.
Yeah. So, occasionally in Frantic, because I think Frantic we practice the most efficiently, because we're very like, all right, we're here, play all of our music like for the next show that's coming up, like just like front to back, like we just don't quit. And the other bands, like, we take stops in between songs, which is totally fine. Both are very good, but the reason Frantic got that, like, drilled into it is just our practices got shorter and shorter and shorter. When we first started out, we used to meet up at, like, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Hang out all day. Like, play music when everybody got there, and then, like, go on walks, like, go to Taco Bell at night. Like, just hang out and be friends, you know what I mean? And then we were all younger, had less responsibilities. We grew up.
Yeah.
People moved to different places. People are working different jobs with crazy different hours. When I was working in direct service provider for like developmentally disabled folks, I would work like, overnight shifts, and then I'd be like dead at practice the next day or whatever. It was just like everything kind of just, it all got crazy. But now we meet for like 2 or 3 hours every week, and we just cram everything into it. And a lot of it right now, especially leading up to a release, is all like Chris is explaining like the marketing. So like an hour of practice, like sometimes is like all the business stuff. Like, all right, merch ideas. Like, let's talk about merch ideas. Let's figure out what we can put out there. How are we going to market it? Like, what makes sense? like new ideas that I'm pumped about for merch. We released a water bottle, like one of the aluminum water bottles.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like a cool little Frantic design all over it. It's great. And I was like, yo, water bottle is awesome idea. We just did the lanyards. It's just a lot of figuring out things I never thought I'd have to think about in a band.
Yeah.
Growing up, I thought when I get to the point where I'm going to be thinking about merch, there's going to be a guy for me. That guy is going to do the... Guess what? We're all that guy. We got to figure it out. And
I feel like a lot of that...
Hats off to Chris, because he's mostly that guy. He's done a lot of the legwork.
I feel like a lot of that has changed because of the internet and things like that, where, before, to have a lanyard, you would have to be a big touring band. But now because of the internet, you can find these companies and be like, we'll make you 20 lanyards if you want 20.
Right, yeah.
It's instead of ordering 2,000 of them. So it's much easier to have merch. It's much easier to have a wide variety of merch. We just, like, this past... What are we in, summer now? This past winter, we just ordered a ton of different merch.
Nice.
And it was the a company that we had used before. They're doing their job, and they're like, hey, we threw your logos on a bunch of stuff, like, in Photoshop or however they do it, and just sent us a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I'm not really going to buy anything. And I started scrolling through. I'm like, whoa, I kind of like that hat, though. Well, that hat's really nice, too.
See, they know how to market to their audience.
Yeah, And so next thing I know, we're dropping, like, a bunch of money on merch, and now it's like... So now we've been doing a lot of these, shop local vendor markets, which we fell into, basically. And... So now I'm like, oh, yeah, there's merch. We should be selling the merch at this market. How are we going to display it? We should be able to... We have to transport it and display it and make it easy, and I don't want it to be... So now it's like, okay, so now I have to build out a display to put the merch on. And it's just like, I never thought about this when I ordered the stuff, and now it's like, yeah, I got to sell it. And it's... Do you ever get tired of doing, like, the business side of it?
I'm so guilty for not doing enough of the business side of it. So, like, I cannot say I get sick of it. I'm trying to be better. I have to be better about it. But I can say for sure that it's definitely tiring. I know Chris has been like, I was up till 3 o'clock last night putting together these pre-bundle orders, or, like, pre-order bundles, whatever. It's just like... Yeah. Oh, no, you were up till 3 doing that, and I was up till 3 just, like, watching YouTube. Like, I could be doing something, but it's like, I just don't know what to do. I need to read some books or something on, like, how to sometimes do the internet marketing.
You need, like, that lead person, which sounds like it would be Chris.
Absolutely.
To then delegate and be like, all right, you're going to be the shipping person, I'll get you the orders, but you're going to pack and you're going to ship everything. And not in that bossy way, just like, so the poor guy's not getting burnt out.
The main bullet point is this needs to get done. Yeah. You're in charge of that.
Yeah. Please be in charge of this.
That was kind of like how the Twitter thing was pitched to me, and I fell off with that, so I need to fix a lot of that. But I also got super busy, and now I have 3 bands. I do a lot of the... I used to do... There's not a lot to do right now, but I used to do, like, a lot of the... business side of things for the cover band.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I was the one that worked, like, down here and, like, in the industry, so I knew other people.
You knew who to talk to, yeah.
So it was just like, all right, I'm going to set up the band email. Like, all right, now we have an email. Here you go, guys. You can log in for this. Like, all right, now we have a PayPal. You can sign in doing it this way. You know what I mean? It's just like, I get it. And I didn't do nearly what Chris is doing for Frantic, and I'm just like, just thinking about doing that tenfold already makes me upset.
But I think, like, the cover band has, like, a different, like, maybe there'd be merch, but, like, like, you wouldn't put out an album of cover music typically.
No, that's not, like, anything we would think of doing.
Yeah.
So I had this merch idea for a long time, and I actually still get emails from the website because I went and looked into it.
Yeah.
But I got a new... So there's the Lightning Lyford logo with all of us that look like Rick and Morty.
Yep.
That's awesome. But then we have, like, a more, like, professional logo that's, like, cleaner. Mm-hmm. And I have new business cards with that, and I always wanted to put that logo on custom rolling papers.
Oh, nice.
And I looked into the company. I get an email like once a week from them. They're like, "Hey, check out this deal," and I'm just like,
"Oh, once they get your email, they just inundate you."
That was my. That's actually a New Year's resolution for me this year. I've been going through and unsubscribing from all these like junk emails that I get, and then I'm slowly gonna delete all my extra emails just because I had one for this job. I have this one for my Amazon account. It's just like I'm just gonna get one email, so I can put all my important stuff in that one. One for all the gaming, like just like organize my life. It's important to do.
Yeah. I feel like every time I try to do that, it get like, because we have with the 3 different podcasts, like you need 3 different email addresses for them because okay, well you're gonna register on this account. Well, you can't do that with the same email address. I mean, like, yeah, but we have 2 shows. I'm like, well, then you need another email address for that. You're like, all right, fine. And then like we kind of try to keep it all under like one social media, and then Jordan kept saying on Bar Talk, check us out on Instagram. We're like, dude, we're not on Instagram. So then we had to get an Instagram, and because he wouldn't stop saying it. So,
Jordan loves the gram. He loves the gram, dude.
It's where it's at right now, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Instagram. I follow a bunch of really cool art pages right now.
Yeah.
All like digital art, like all space stuff.
Yeah.
And like every day Instagram's like his 12 new pages that all do incredible art like this. I'm like, please give me more. I'll follow 7,000 of them.
I'm finding myself more and more spending time on Instagram opposed to Facebook, because Facebook is just like bitchy bitch, bitch bitch bitch, bitchy bitch bitch, and Instagram's just like, ooh, pretty pictures.
Yeah, I took a break from Facebook for about a month. I was off of Facebook. I just needed to like step back from getting wrapped up in everyone's nonsense.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
so
mean?
easy to do.
And now like a lot of my Facebook is just like memes.
Yeah.
And I used to do like, I'm not gonna judge memes right now, but I am. Like, I used to just do like the shitposty, like attention grabbing memes, and like now a lot of it now is just like, this is just like dumb funny. Like it's just like there's no extracurriculars attached to it. It's not political. It's not this. It's just like, this is just an idiot.
Right.
Like,
it's just funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. So, how do you write your music? Again, so this would take Lightning Lyford out of it, but when you're writing, do you come up with like a bass? So it's probably a collaborative effort, I'm assuming. But do you ever kind of like in a Frantic Endeavor rehearsal come up with a line or a riff or something where you're like, I feel like that's more Faith from Fables, or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so
do you come up with something? And go, oh, I'm gonna kind of save that for later, and
so there's this riff. This is actually funny because I'm gonna kind of battle what you said about the cover band, because it definitely applies to them because we're trying to write our own music.
Oh, okay, all right.
We get wrapped up in learning 12 new 90s covers instead. But ideas have been thrown around. So there's this riff that I wrote forever ago in Frantic, and it's always been called Funk Master. It's just this little slap riff. It's like super catchy.
Yeah.
And Cody has always loved it. Always. We never ended up doing anything in Frantic with it. Like, we tried, and it was just like a lot of... It ended up having like a weird like Pink Floyd feel to it, but also like none of the parts should have been together. Like the transitions were just like new part. Yeah. There was no like no way to get from one part to the next. It was just like, now we're doing that part, and it was really chopped up, and I hated it. But yeah, for after it sat there for like a year and a half, I was just like, can I just take this riff somewhere else? I'm going to go and try and pitch this to the cover band. Right. And like we messed around with it in the cover band for a second, and as soon as I played it, Cody played the original chord from the Frantic song, and I was just like, all right, so we're never going to be able to do anything with this either. Like, all this is that one intro now. It's just that one riff with Cody's chord, and it's just like, that's all we're going to play. And it's not even Cody's chord. It's the one that Chris used to play in the Frantic version. Sometimes in...
Is Cody in all three bands?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Cody's in cover band and
Faith from
Fable.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I had like a really good like writing week at Faith, which happens on Sundays, is the cover band and Faith from Fable, and then Thursdays is Frantic. If I have like a really awesome week at Faith, I'll walk into Frantic and like do some like Faith feeling stuff like over parts that have already been solidified, like album stuff that's already written. Like I'll just like add like extra stuff that I did in Faith. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it'd be a cool live thing. Other times I'm like, don't do that. Don't play your instrument for the rest of the week. You're grounded. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I write a lot of Faith stuff on my acoustic guitar, like ideas like pop out of my head because I keep it in the same tuning. But I'll just like play like little riffs at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're always super quiet and recorded on my phone, garbage. And then I'll take the same riff and like play it on bass when I get somewhere that has an amp, and I'm like, all right, figure out what to do here. And then I bounce back and forth for a couple weeks. Actually, there's an intro in a new Faith song that we just wrote that started that way. It started at like 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting in my room, just like, all right, play the guitar, smoke some more weed. Nope. Don't like this. Yeah. And then play it on bass. Oh, I kind of like this. And then I go home and I'll sit there with my bass for like an hour. All right, this is the riff. And then it ended up sticking. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like sometimes that like that time away from it. You know, like I've done drawings.
You have to step back.
Yeah, I've done drawings in that I've gone back and looked at and either been like, "Ooh, I used to like this," or like, "Oh, this is better than I thought it was." You know. And I was listening to an interview with Matt Damon, and he was talking about when him and Ben wrote Good Will Hunting. I guess there was a draft that they did that they're like, "This is it. This is the best thing we've ever written." But we need some distance, and they put it away for like 3 days, and they went back and read it, and they were so embarrassed that they burnt it. They're like, wow. No one will ever read that again. It was so terrible.
Didn't we just talked about that movie last night, right?
Did we?
Yeah, because I was telling you how like I'm not a movie person.
Oh, right. But you said you're like a big Robin Williams fan or something.
I am, and I just saw Good Will Hunting for the first time like a couple months ago, and I was very pleased.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know.
It's a great flick.
It's an awesome movie. I don't know what it is about movies, man.
Is it the...
I think it's just the time.
Yeah.
I think it's... But I say things like that, and then I'm like, yeah, but you also just watched 6 hours of YouTube last night. Like,
but it's that... Is it the... Because I found in the beginning of lockdown, because I'm a big movie fan, I couldn't sit and watch a movie. I don't know what. I had all the time in the world, but I couldn't sit and watch a movie. But I could sit and watch 4 hours of 12-minute clips on YouTube. So it was something about, like, you know, whether it was my attention span or just the, you know, the shortness of the clip that didn't really take a lot of commitment. You know, I don't know. So it's weird.
I think some of it probably comes from just, like, falling into, like, this whole, like, instant gratification thing, like, on social, like, through social media and stuff. A movie is, like, an hour and a half commitment about the same thing.
Yeah.
That essentially reading like a 12-page paper as somebody's Facebook status. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna take the time. I'm not clicking see more.
Right.
I'm just gonna read what's at the top.
Yeah.
Gonna check out, and I'm gonna go do something else. And I think it's a bad way to be like that, but I don't know. I've always disliked movies. Like growing up, I wasn't huge on movies, and that was before I even cared about playing music. I don't know. I just don't care.
So, when you're on YouTube, are you watching like the same? Like, are you watching the same type of thing, or are you watching a channel? So, like, have you seen this thing about the milk crates?
I like just saw this milk crate thing.
Like it just like 2 days ago, and like there's shitloads of videos about it, and I'm like, what is going like?
Instant gratification for people. As soon as somebody does something and it catches on a little bit, that's it. Like I'm on TikTok. I love TikTok. There's a bunch of hilarious people on there. I found some incredible musicians on there too.
Yeah. But so that's kind of like, do you watch bass videos? Do you watch people walking on milk crates?
I don't watch people walking on milk crates. I watch
maybe 20 minutes doing it yesterday.
I watch bass videos occasionally. Yeah. A lot of the times these days, it's usually somebody sending me a video, or they saw something and they're like, "Yo, this guy knows what he's doing. Watch this." And I'm like, "All right, yeah."
The correct answer, Cheeze, is I watch Part Talk day drinking. But it's fine. I'm not hurt. It's fine. Whatever.
Wow, I failed. You threw me off, man. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just messing with you.
No, but I like to watch gaming channels.
Yeah. Oh, you said you were streaming.
I'm a big Minecrafter.
Yeah.
I've been following Hermitcraft, which is like some of the best Minecraft players in my opinion.
Yeah.
They all run a server together, and they have been for years. I've been watching since season 6. So
I used to give my kids crap because they would watch Minecraft videos. And I'm like, you're watching someone else play a video game? Give me a break. Blah, the parent,
Yep.
Whatever. And then I started watching Critical Role.
Yep.
And after about, a year of that, I'm like, oh, I totally lost my moral high ground.
Yep.
I'm
watching somebody play the game.
I'm watching someone else play a game.
Other than Minecraft, I do a lot of Pokemon videos, all over the map. I'll watch people open Pokemon cards. I fall into that rabbit hole a lot.
Yep.
I like that. There's a lot of fan-made games that are like ROM hacks or whatever for like older games. So like a Gen 3 game, but somebody like rewrote the story, like made their own like fake Pokemon, put like a bunch of cool stuff in the game, and a lot of people run those games.
And you said you stream.
Yeah, so I stream Pokemon Emerald. I do Nuzlocke, which is like a class of...
no idea what that
is. It's a way to make the game harder. So if your Pokemon faints, like normally you would just go and heal it at the Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
But in a Nuzlocke, if your Pokemon faints, like it essentially is like dead. So you have to release it, like get rid of it. Like you lost to that Pokemon. You're an idiot. So you got to think strategically in the game. You can add a whole bunch of other stipulations, like no healing items in battle, like whatever. Make it as hard as you want.
Yeah.
And then there's a program that randomizes every Pokemon in the game. So, like, normally you can catch, like, these 3 Pokemon in the first route. Well, now you could catch, like, a legendary. Like, it could be anything.
Yeah.
It's super fun. It's just a good way to kill time.
So,
and that was my first generation. Something like that. It's like a challenge game.
Yeah.
And it's just better, like, with interaction. Because I could sit there in my room alone and emulate a Game Boy on my computer.
Yeah.
And just play this cool video game. Or I can also like put it up there for my 3 friends to hang out and talk to me while they're doing nothing.
Yeah. It's interesting because having kids, I have an adult and a kid now, which is fucking weird. But, like everyone's like, oh, kids these days, they don't have that, they don't go out and they don't get their license. Like my son still hasn't gotten his license. He's got his permit, but he hasn't gotten his license.
It took me a while.
And I'm like, it's different because like when I was a kid, you got your license as soon as you could, so you could go hang out at your friend's house and play video games. He doesn't have to go anywhere to do it.
Put the headset on. I'm going to jump in the Call of Duty lobby, hang out with my friends anyways,
He's like
Mom.
doing exactly what I was doing. He's just saving gas money.
Right, yeah. Environmentally friendly hanging out.
Exactly. So it's just interesting because you get people that don't see it that way, and they're just like, kids these days. I'm like, no, they're doing exactly what we did.
It's just different.
Yeah, they just don't have to leave their house to do it.
Everything is crazy different. Even my sister is 3 years younger than me, and I feel like an old person talking to her sometimes. Because I'm like, it's really only 3 years, but there's like I feel like
things change so much. Yeah.
Yeah, like the gap is different. So like me to a 35-year-old, like the information gap and like the way things are is way shorter than just me to my sister, which is only 3 years.
Right.
Like as you get younger, I feel like they all like got faster and had to do a lot more. Like I would be awful in high school, middle school right now. I know I would not survive with how fast I'd have to like keep up with everything.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's like the milk crate thing. Yeah. Like one day, like some guy goes into school on Friday. Hey, I did the milk crate thing, and like everybody's like, yeah, dude, like that was over yesterday at 3:00. Like how do you like? Yeah. I can't. I would.
We're on to the orange juice thing.
Yeah,
get with
it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Like now we're putting lemons on our eyes for as long as we can. I don't know. Like don't do that. Don't do that. Bad. Terrible idea.
You heard it here first. Cheeze
no,
says.
No. Cheeze says.
We're gonna call it the Cheeze Lemon Challenge.
Nope. She said nothing. Delete this clip.
I wonder. Sometimes I wonder, like, who starts these things, and do they ever have like real regret? Because I did. I spent like maybe 15, 20 minutes yesterday just honestly trying to find someone who actually did the milk crate, because it's just like every milk crate thing I saw was people getting just destroyed.
I watched somebody like definitely lose all of their teeth down their throat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is the milk crate thing. Yeah. I'm done with this.
Yeah, and it's just like, they're really hurt. Like, there's no way you're not hurt. Like, at what point when you do those things, like, you were immediately like, don't do that. Like, who puts those things out in the world and just be like, someone's definitely going to die doing the milk crate thing.
I mean...
Someone's going to land on their head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already happened.
Yeah.
Somebody's definitely paralyzed somewhere from doing it.
Yeah.
I mean...
And then the news runs it.
I'm not pointing blame anywhere because I'm not, like, that keyboard warrior, but...
There's a little bit of blame.
I mean, things like Jackass, like, set precedent for things like this.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that came with explicit warnings, like, don't do any of this. Like,
yeah.
But
that's also... Come on now.
That's like cover your own ass type of thing. I know, but you got to look at these people that, brand themselves and jump off of roofs and go, that's probably not safe. Like, this also, like, fault on the person that's like, yeah,
right.
That guy fell off the top milk crate. I'm going to go do the same thing. Why?
Yeah,
I feel like it's this question like, oh, if your friends told you to jump off a bridge, would you? Like, everybody's saying yes right now.
There's a bridge challenge. You heard it right here. Cheeze wants you to jump off a bridge on the Cheeze Bridge Challenge. The lemon challenge is over. It's now the Cheeze Bridge Challenge.
Yo, I would never be able to keep up. That's what I'm saying. It's impossible these days. That's why I just do my own thing. I checked out, and very recently, I did this for my own mental health. I am light years ahead of where I used to be, even just 6 months ago. And it's just... I literally only care about, like, things that bring me joy. I'm not wrapped up in anybody's, like, nonsense.
One of the things that I think we were talking about it a little bit last night, because I'm like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And you told me. I'm like, that's right. I've seen you post about it. As you do, like, field day, like, once a week.
It's essentially the Nickelodeon, like, get outside and play campaign, but for adults, specifically that are friends with me on social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, because I'm like, what are you like? Oh, just like
every Thursday, outside shit. Yeah, throw the frisbee around, toss a football around, listen to music, like, and while I'm waiting for everybody, like, I'm out there with a sketchbook. I'm no artist. I do, like, random little, like, mosaic things, and I just sit there and, like, listen to lo-fi and doodle, and it's, like, super relaxing because it's outside. I'm telling you, your life improves tenfold as soon as you go outside and just, like, get some sun.
Yeah.
Even if you took, like, a 15-minute walk every day, not only is that just, like, good to do, like, for physical health, but it starts to affect you mentally, and it can really make your life that much better. I'm gonna sit here and really pitch, just, like, go outside. I'm gonna. But I
really like, like, people are like, oh, you gotta, like, go out for a walk, and I totally agree, because part of what I love about living downtown is when I go for a walk, I'm right by the ocean.
Right.
It's beautiful. But, like, the idea of just, like, hey, whoever's around, come hang out and let's, play some stupid outside games. And just, to me, I'm like, that's fucking genius. Like, I love that.
Yeah, that's what we did as kids. Like, we knocked on a door and threw a ball around.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like through the busyness of life and people, like, right around my age group, like, kind of, like, grew up and out of the internet, also going through into the internet, like, going through middle school, high school. So it was, like, weird because we went from memorizing phone numbers and knocking on doors to, like, sending a Snapchat.
Memorizing phone numbers.
Right?
You're not that old.
I knew all my friends' phone numbers.
Really?
And I always remembered it just on the pattern.
Yeah.
Because everybody had the same area code, and then everybody had the same house phone number.
Yeah.
House phones, all right? I know dial-up. I know the noise.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I know that, all right? I'm at least there. The first console was a Genesis, all right? Calm down.
So I went through a very interesting experience years ago. I left my phone in my buddy's car, and I lived in Middleborough in this apartment building that was, like, it was on the second floor, but, like, you needed a key to even get in the building.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have, like, a buzzer, so, like, you couldn't go up and, like, buzz somebody. Like, you needed a key to get in. And so I'm like, fuck, I left my phone in his car. Well, I'll call. No, I can't call anybody. I don't have anyone's number. I'm like, how the hell am I going to get my phone back? And it became like this, holy shit, if I lose my phone...
Dead in the water.
I'm dead. So I have started keeping a list of phone numbers in my wallet.
Nice.
And it's just like, these are the people who I actually went through it the other day. I'm like, I really need to update this because I don't date her anymore. I don't work there anymore. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like when you like memorize phone numbers, the only number I know is mine. I couldn't even tell you. I think the only thing I could tell you is my kids' numbers start 774, and that's it. Like I couldn't tell you anything else about their phone numbers. Like, I wouldn't be able to call them. And so it's just a really interesting how once you don't have to remember numbers, because back in the day I used to have 15, 20 numbers in my head that I could just dial up at any time.
Yeah.
I don't have a single one now because your brain's like, oh, that's taken care of. I don't need to remember that.
Right, yeah, I don't even have to pick up my phone. I can yell at it from here to call.
That's right, yeah.
I can say it on speakerphone. I don't have to get off the couch for this.
That's true. Which is why the Cheeze Bridge Challenge is over, and it's now the Cheeze Get Outside and Play.
Yo, I'm signing up. Yeah, the challenge is to go outside for 30 minutes a day and play.
Love it.
That's it.
Where can people go to check out the bands?
So Facebook for all three. And I think just Frantic has everything else. I don't think we have a TikTok, but
are you guys on Bandcamp?
I think we're on Bandcamp. We have our website, the Bandcamp. I think we have a Snapchat. I don't know if we use it. We have Twitter. I know we don't use it great because that's my responsibility. Instagram, we're very up on. So Instagram and Facebook are like the two heavy hitters for social media.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't know, all the streaming services too for Frantic.
Yeah.
They're everything. Even like the little random ones like on a Windows phone from 12 years ago, like it's probably on that streaming service.
Yeah, nice. So it's Frantic Endeavor, Lightning Lyford, and the Procrastinators, and Faith from Fables, in case anyone forgot. And so, yeah, send Cheeze your TikTok challenges, and he'll do them while he's outside playing.
Is that what we're doing? We're sending me challenges?
Yeah, sure. Why not, man?
Maybe I'll do one.
All right. No, but I appreciate you taking the time to come chit-chat.
Yo, this was cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for our listeners, we'll catch you guys again next week.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or on Instagram at Inebri-art6. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.